his PVZ being pretty good. So if Glon gets beaten here, Rocker could definitely handle some of the Zerg players on light esports. So it's good to have a player like that. When somebody goes for a very Zerg heavy matchup against you or team roster against you.
Hey, don't jump a little bit too far ahead right now.
I
You
know.
got to remember first of all that that there was a very strong queen buff that I still like to talk about. If you
Right.
remember, queens actually have a higher DPS fighting against a stalker than stalkers do against a queen. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, they have higher DPS and now one less range because stalkers only deal 10 damage and they actually fire slower. So their DPS is probably like zero point 0.8 when the queens is actually at 8. Can get even higher as well, but I'm still getting the cart before the horse. Let's go ahead and talk about this Zerg versus Zerg. We see
No
Glon.
stalkers here.
No stalkers here. No, unless a drone wants to, follow around a queen all day long. But that's besides the point. A Zerg versus Zerg. Glon spawning as the blue Zerg on the top right-hand side of the map. Light spawning as the yellow Zerg on the bottom left. And are you just getting that joke now?
I'm just getting your stalker joke. I'm sorry. sorry.
That was a little bit of a delayed reaction. Like, what is Crota talking about?
That,
Stalk.
that was deep, Crota.
All right.
Didn't know you had all that stalker. Yeah. All right. Here we go. ZBZ Daybreak.
All right, yeah. So far, both of the players just sending out their overlords, getting in a little bit of information. And what's going to be interested to see, what I will be interested in seeing is when they finally deviate. So far, both of the players pretty much second by second, neck and neck in this mirror match.
Yeah, we saw the last ZBZ. There were slight deviations here and there. He got speed 10 seconds faster. I got a Baneling Nest 10 seconds faster. And those things you can definitely take advantage if you have very crisp, I call them lucky timings, because it's hard to know, when the speed is going to finish for your opponent. You're never sure when it's going to start or when the Baneling Nest might finish. But instead, we saw deviations where Glon went for that faster lair. And so he was able to take advantage, and we saw that Caliber, had the early Ling advantage, the earlier Banelings, and he was just not able to do any damage. Used all those Banelings on just the one Spine Crawler, and that's fine if you follow up. You don't want that Spine Crawler, halting your attacks in the early going, but after taking it down, he just didn't do anything, and Glana was able to get that tech advantage going, and used his mutas to really harass and shut down his third.
Yeah, we'll see if Glon tries to do perhaps a tech advantage in game 3 here. We are tied at 1 game apiece, and whether or not Golden learned anything from watching. Now, one of the benefits of having a lot of Zergs on your team is that when your teammate loses, you get to come in and what your opponent is going to be doing, a little bit of his style, just because it's the same matchup. So we'll see if Glon tries to change anything. No?
Yeah, I think most Zerg players, they don't play quite standard. I think everybody's got that 6 pool or that 9 pool in their back pocket because, you almost have to throw it out there a little bit randomly sometimes on the ladder to try to take advantage and really practice all the different styles. So, yeah, maybe somebody's more comfortable going hatch first or 14-14, but I think you still have to scout, and you really can't guess about what your opponent's doing. Like you might be able to in a PvP or a TBT, the styles maybe a little bit more set rather than ZBZ.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So far, we're getting a spine crawler over here at the main ramp from Golden. Meanwhile, Glon getting that spine crawler just a little bit later. A queen now trying to take down an overlord. I don't believe the queen will be able to snipe it down. The queen does have a range of 7, which is very good for anti-air attack. But that overlord with that faster movement speed, able to just escape with no real issue.
Yeah, that's definitely a big factor in the ZVZ now. Queen's still able to chase down overlords off of creep, but it takes so long now. You have to get so many hits. You have to do a lot more walking before you can shoot. You basically have to send the queen halfway across the map to take down an overlord, where before it didn't have to go too far. Maybe it didn't miss an eject, or it didn't miss by that many seconds, and it was sort of worth chasing down those overlords. But now the overlord's a little bit more maneuverable, a little bit faster, and not as scared of those queens.
Right, so Glon is currently going in for, I believe, a Roach Warren. Meanwhile, Golden going in for a Baneling's Nest. Why don't you, Matron, why don't you tell us a little bit about the differences in a Roach Warren versus a Baneling in a Zerg versus Zerg, and what we can expect from these players?
Well, banelings typically come out a little bit faster, and if you have your lings already in position, Golden does not at this point. He's just got two lings. If you have your lings in position, perhaps by the third, you can morph in some banelings, and you can rush and beat those roaches out. But it looks like Golden perhaps just going to be using this baneling nest defensively, and that's a really strong style. You just get it up. It doesn't cost that much in the way of gas. You just have a few lings in case your opponent goes for banelings. We see Golden now doing some scouting here. He knows his opponent does not have a baneling nest. We saw a cancel there by Glon. I'm not sure what he did cancel, but we know Golden sees that roach warren. He sees the Evo chamber, so now he doesn't have to invest in baneling. So just a smart decision to rush the baneling nest just for defense, and he's not going for any sort of baneling aggression. Both players will be able to get into the style of game that they want to here in the mid game.
Yeah, the style of the game coming in from Golden looks like it will be a hatch at the 9 o'clock position. So Golden is going to be, I guess, Golden in terms of his economy. He's going to be in a very good position if he can transfer a queen over there. And what I am surprised about is these players aren't getting additional queens. With the queen buff, they're effective against roaches. They actually outrange them. They're good against banelings, and more importantly, they don't cost larva, so you can still train up a whole bunch of drones as well. Not quite sure. Oh, and what it looks like the Spinecrawler did get a quick shot off there, as Light now is simply moving across the map. And this is a late timing coming in from Glon, setting up the hatchery well after the hatchery is done for Golden.
Yeah, typically early queens more beneficial in the other matchups, especially ZBT, as Terran does a lot more harassment in the early going. Typically, that third queen will come out right about the time that the third hatchery is finishing for a Zerg player in a ZBZ. They're just not as useful. It's good to have 3 or 4 out if your opponent goes for early mutas. We do have the lair already complete for Golden. We've got it about to complete for Glon. So both players, I think, will be going for Roach Tech here. The upgrades for Glon are going to be a little bit faster, but it looks like Glio Reconstitution going to be out a little bit earlier for Golden. So again, both players doing very similar things, but the timings are going to be about 10-15 seconds off for both. We've got Glon now working on level 2 upgrades, starting his own Glio Reconstitution. So both players sort of settling into similar styles, with Golden getting up that third just a little bit earlier, and both players sort of back and forth on the upgrades.
Yeah, right now Golden, may take a lot of damage here. Roach is able to snipe down one roach, another roach getting taken down for free. So Golden losing 2 roaches there. And what's interesting to note is, even though these two players have very similar armies and are almost tied in terms of supply, they're going about it in very different ways, as Matron mentioned. By going about it in different ways, you actually have different things come available to you faster. Like we said, Glio Reconstitution, it's not about your unit combination and your upgrades. It's about how you get there. And it looks like Glon is perhaps going to have faster attack and armor upgrades, but Golden is going to have faster movement speed upgrades. And if Golden is able to capitalize on that, he may be able to do a little bit of hit and runs and try to deny this third. But it looks like Glon is already well prepared for any aggression here at the third as well.
Golden also got that third up a little bit faster, so that economy pays off over time compared to, if both players are 2-2, it doesn't matter if my opponent got there 20 seconds faster than me. It's not a big deal. We're both 2-2, but if I get up my third 20, 30 seconds faster than my opponent, that does matter. So Golden taking a little bit of a risk by delaying upgrades, but he instead favors his economy, and that's going to pay off as long as Glon does not find a timing here where he's engaging at 2-2 compared to Golden's 1-1. Golden's definitely going to have the advantage just because of his economy.
Yeah, it's always very difficult to try to utilize and capitalize on those timings. It's not like these players have the production tab like we do, saying like, okay, there's about a 25-second window, so I need to move out my units right now, and then right as I get there, if I'm on creep for like 7 seconds, I should be able to maximize the amount of time where I have that maximum upgrade. They can't do this. They're just trying to get a feel. They're playing by sense now that we're at the 12, 13-minute mark in this game. And it's really going to come into whoever can surprise the other opponent more. Also, one thing to note, both of these players are not putting down a lot of creep tumors, because creep tumors go both ways in a Zerg versus Zerg, and here we go.
Great positioning here by Glon. He's already spread out in a nice arc. He's also got 2-1 compared to just the 1-1 of Golden. So we'll see also with the defender's advantage. I think Glon definitely going to be able to take this. He does have that upgraded advantage like I talked about. He found that timing, though it was sort of given to him by Golden, and just great positioning there by Glon. He had that huge arc. He had the upgrade advantage, and he took a big chunk out of Golden's army. I have to say that probably just equalized things in terms of economy and minerals. So far. Golden had that earlier third, but he just threw away so many roaches compared to Glon. Glon 200. He has to take advantage now. He has two roaches compared to just 2-1. So again, he's going to be able to take advantage of this upgrade timing. He has to make it pay off. 2-2 about to finish for Golden.
Yeah, it looks like 2-2 needs about another 20 seconds or so, so Glon could have at most 10 seconds where he has an upgrade advantage. He is going to try to engage. The roaches are 2-2, and here we go. A nice arch once more, and Glon really capitalizing on this. The 2-2 versus the 2-1. How much longer is it going to be? Another 10 seconds to go. No Zerglings to really clean up the damage. Defender's advantage in favor of Golden here, and now we are 2-2 versus 2-2, and I believe Glon will come out slightly ahead, but Golden will have reinforcements. And with those reinforcements, I don't know if Glon will be able to continue unless he's going to be flooding in more roaches from the backport from his own army.
Two great trades there by Glon, the first at his own base, and then pushing out there, taking advantage of another upgrade advantage, and he was able to just chunk the army of Golden. So Golden will be able to reinforce here a little bit with the defender's advantage, but Glon just did not lose as many roaches as Golden, and that's going to, really factor in here. We see Glon almost maxed out once again. Golden struggling to get to that 150 mark. He's got to make something happen. Glon working on his fourth hatchery, as is Golden, so both players with a fourth about to finish, but Glon already maxed out. There's no more upgrades coming out for either player. There are infestors though by Golden, so if Golden is able to delay until infestors, he could wrestle back the advantage from Glon. Glon has to take advantage. He's pushing into the third here. He's doing his best to engage before the spine crawlers come up. It looks like he will win this engagement as well. He's sending roaches into the natural as well, so hoping to do some economic damage, but great defense here by Golden. Whether those roaches will be able to do damage in the main and the natural for Glon, really gonna have to pay off there, as he did split his army and he did not do critical damage in that third. There's roaches taking down drones here in the main though. We've got Golden doing no counterattacks of his own. He's just on the defensive here. Glon really putting pedal to the metal here with his roach pressure, almost maxed out again compared to 135 from Golden.
Yeah, a 50 supply difference. Absolute beautiful play by Glon. You saw the queens did come in. They did get a couple of transfusions. And I think that was the tipping for Golden to be able to have that defender's advantage. Glon unable to heal up any of his units. But Golden losing a lot of units inside his main base, or a lot of just workers, now down by 12 workers, or excuse me, 10 workers, 12 workers killed. As Glon now utilizing Burrow in order to regenerate all of these hit points on these roaches, and it looks like he's just going to simply repeat and try it again, as Glon now following up with a Hydralisk Den. And this is going to be a very, very effective play, as the Hydralisk and the roaches coupled together. You have your tank, you have your DPS, and that is just something very, very difficult, even for infestors to sometimes try to take down.
And there's really just one infestor on the field right now. A second one just popped out in a third on the way for Golden, but just with one fungal growth, I'm not sure that Golden's actually going to be able to defend here. Glon's still with a superior arc here, so he's going to be able to do great DPS. If he can focus down an infestor, it would really pay off as well. So Glon needs to actually shoot and scoot. Some of his roaches not really attacking from the back, but he had the advantage in the early game after attacking or after defending there. Golden's first attack, and then every single encounter thereafter has been in Glon's favor. He's just continued to press his advantage, and Golden down to 83 food. Glon double his supply. Has to be the GG in just a moment.
Yeah, Glon 193, Golden 171. He's probably going to be studying this replay, trying to figure out what happened. And I think what really happened was Golden gave the game to Glon when he attacked with inferior upgrades. Normally, you try to attack right as your upgrades finish, just so you know you have your advantage. He actually attacked right as Glon's upgrades finished, and with Defender's advantage going for you, and also an upgrade advantage going for you, Golden just stuck around far too long.
And great positioning as well. Glon continued to set up his roaches defensively in that big arc, and if you can get your roaches, instead of frittering around for 3 or 4 seconds trying to get in position. If you can get 2 more attacks off, that's huge. Roaches, they don't do a lot of DPS. So if you're able to get, an extra few attacks, if you've got the upgrade advantage in great position and the defender's advantage as well, that's just a recipe for success. And Glon took advantage, continued to stay aggressive there. You have to continue to trade after you get an advantage like that. You can't give Golden an opportunity to go home, get some infestors, get some hydras, and meet with better upgrades and better tech as well. You've got to continue to push, 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 take advantage of those upgrades, and take advantage of just a superior army as well. And Glan was able to do that and take that game.